and I'm really honored today to see Sir RJ Ahmed to be with me today, and I'm really happy. So, hello, hi, nice to meet you. How's it
Hey
going?
Farwa, thank you so much for having me here. I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm perfectly. I'm more than just fine right now. I'm really honored.
Awesome.
Could you give me a small? Could you bless us with a small intro of yourself so that my audience know you better?
Yeah, sure. Like as you said, like my name is RJ Ahmed, and I've been doing podcasting for the past almost like 5 years now. I was the very first English podcast in Pakistan, and right now at the moment I am running a podcast production agency where I help other entrepreneurs, business owners launch their own podcast. I had self-authored a book. I don't know if it's here or not, but it's on the side. It's called
Oh,
Decades in Days, which was my personal. Okay, yeah, I got it here. Which is like Decades in Days, which is all around my personal takeaways I had after interviewing 30 entrepreneurs on my podcast. This was launched 4 years ago. I've yet to create another version of this, but yeah, that's kind of like a short introduction of like who I am and what I do.
whoa! So you're a pro. I'm a noob, but I'm gonna learn a lot today. I'm so excited. I'm so ready for that. All right,
Yep.
moving on. My first question is, it's out of nowhere. How has your own definition of success has changed over time?
Yeah. So, um, for, of course, I mean, I would say like it changed a lot over the years. And the first thing, if I think about of success now, is at first I thought about like success is relative. So I thought about like the meaning of success is the same for everyone, right? Nice car, nice house, nice family, um, you know, good income job, all that. So I thought at first that success is relative, and it's not. Success is subjective. The definition of success is subjective for every single person. For some, they could be happy even though they don't have a big house, but have a better job, or like maybe have a better health, but not a better, better finances are not there. They still like the gratitude is still there. They find themselves successful. So, later down the road, I started to realize like success is not relative. Success is subjective, and definition of success always changes from person to person. For me personally, if I am if I know for a fact that I'm having I'm having a better life compared to how it was in the past, and because for having for gauging success, you have to measure it from something, right? It could be your past, how it was earlier on, to what it is right now. And success also comes up with gratitude too, because if you don't measure it, then it's like it's not tangible, it's not there. So like over the years it's changed a lot, but now, well, like, even though things, you know there's there's a amazing sort of like a graph where there's kind of like uphill and downhill, all that, etc., and there's a slight downhill on the top of mountain, but most people realize that they got over to the top and they got a little bit of like a downhill, right? So they forgot about like what are the other things they have already achieved, so they kind of like nullify all the other things. So in my personal case right now, at the moment, like whatever the challenges or anything I face right now, I'm like, okay, like what have I done already that got to me this point? So 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 that's how now I evaluate success, subjectively, based off like how it was a couple of years ago and how it is right now. So I should not be like crying about it, and all that. I should be in more gratitude of like how it was. My problems changed. At first I had different problems, which was, I would say, like not more bearable compared to what it is right now. So problems I have right now is like easy to handle, not a big deal, I would say, if I don't create a big deal out of it. So I have more control over my problems compared to how it was earlier on, right? I had to work hard or more on it. So yeah, like success is subjective, but it all comes down to like you minding about like how things were in the past and how it is now, so that you can be able to like evaluate it, if that answer your question.
That's how I wanted my answer to be, and thank you so much. That was really great. It's too much to learn. You're the way you're explaining. It's really interesting, and That's how I wanted the answer to be, and you're perfect. Thank you so much. All
Yeah.
right. Okay. So my second question is, what book, movie, or experience you had that you had the biggest impact on your mindset?
What movie is that a question? Like what movie or
No, no. It can change. What book, movie, or experience had the biggest
okay.
impact on your mindset?
W- okay, what
It could be
book
anything.
and movie? Yes, yes. What book, movie, or anything in general that have changed my mindset or so? Yeah, I mean there are a couple. Um, when I kind of like stumbled into this like entrepreneurship world, this and that, um, I started to consume like different type of content just to understand how it works. Even though it wasn't working out at first, but I was consuming different entrepreneurship content, all that, etc., etc. One of I saw there was a quote in a book, .com Secrets by Russell Brunson, and he had like one line that kind of like urged me to buy that book, and he actually mentioned that nobody is gonna buy from you until they know you, like you, and trust you. So nobody's going to be buying from you until they know you, like, and trust you. And when I heard that line for the first time, I was like, oh, oh wow! Like I have never, I was never fond of reading books. At first, I was like, "What's the point of reading books? This and that, like, unnecessary things." But when I read that line for the first time, I was like, "I have to buy this book because if that one line can change my perception towards like how selling or serving works, I need to read how the whole book looks like or how the whole framework looks like." So that was like one stance where it definitely happened. Second was like I remember like I was watching the movie Jobs, which is kind of like the autobiography on Steve Jobs. Ashton Kutcher was the actor in that. I really liked. I started to understood like how important your body language is, how important is like how you use your hands when you're speaking, in public appearances or different places, like how it changes the complete perspective of other people who are viewing you, right? In a conversation, if it's like virtual, in person, it just changes perceptions of people towards you. So when I saw that movie for the first time, and that guy was kind of like mimicking like Steve Jobs, body language, I was like, that shows confidence. Right? That shows confidence. That body language shows confidence like clearly. So I was like, okay, I have to work on my body language, how I'm reacting to somebody else, all that, etc. So that was like really important thing. I'm just trying to nail down like the first initial things that changed my perspective, because of course later down the road I started to consume a lot of other things. But like in the initial start, um Jobs movie was great. A book by Russell Brunson, .com Secrets, was definitely great. I was watching some of Grant Cardone's content too, where he was mostly talking about the concept of taking your ownership. Um, that you have to take ownership and you have the willingness to make it happen, and you will make it happen. It's not like regardless of whatever the situation is, whatever it is, if you are taking the ownership of your current situation and you're like, hey, I don't give a damn about like how the situation looks like right now. I will make sure I rectify it, and I will make sure that I get that sorted. It's extreme ownership of your life. It's not like it just happened. Life got in my way and this and that. Not crying about it. It's like, hey, this is what happened. This is exactly what I'm gonna do. If it works, great. If it doesn't, I'm gonna try again. Right? So extreme ownership. So like these three things, like Grant Cardone's initial content, and Jobs movie, and of course like book by Russell Brunson, like .com Secrets, was like initial, I would say, content and different media that changed my perspective around this in general, and evolved my mindset at first.
Wow, great. Thank you so much. It's wonderful to hear that a book and a movie change your perspectives with certain topics.
Yeah.
And thank you so much. What a thoughtful answer. All right, moving on. What's something about you most people don't expect when they first meet you?
So okay, this is something I've heard a lot. That is, um if somebody have not met me, sometimes they have this perception around me that maybe like I'm gonna be rude. I don't know, like that is how the perception looks like in some cases. If they have not got the chance to meet me or talk to me, and they get to talk to me for the first time, um, they probably perceived before meeting me or before talking to me, like, hey, I might be a rude person, or stuff like that. That becomes their common perception. Or especially when I go to events, again, like I'm not that famous at all, but there are people who are following my content from quite a while now, so they come to meet me, all that, etc. So they probably think about, maybe I'm not gonna reply to them positively, this and that, but that's actually not the case. That's the first step perception. But like, I love to meet anybody like who come to meet me in the events. I get a lot of like Rehan school students. Every time I go to event, like, I find the Rehan school students all the time over there, and I get to meet them. So I love meeting them. I love to answer their questions, any question they have. Give them appropriate time, how much I could possibly give in an event. So yeah, I think that's a basic general perception, like somebody creates at first. So yeah.
Thank you so much. Again, a thoughtful answer. And moving on, my second, probably that's my third or fourth question. All right. How do you balance being creative and strategic at the same time in business or branding?
How I think about being creative and strategic at the same time. Okay, so okay, it's a good question. So creative and strategic. Okay, so when we think about like being creative and strategic, does not mean that you are inventing everything by your own. That's the first part, right? There are strategies already in the marketplace that are working. There are creative that's already in the marketplace that's working. The important part comes up is, okay, like, now you've learned something new. How about executing it? And again, execution doesn't mean like you solo executing it. Of course, if you have a team, execution becomes a little bit faster compared to if somebody is solo doing it. If you can able to like lay down a plan for your team, they would be able to execute things faster. So like, normally, let's say if I'm scrolling content on YouTube, we have a podcast production agency, like, there is a little bit like file that is working in the market. From an editing standpoint, I just send it to my editor. I'm like, good thing that would work out, and our clients would love it, and it could provide us like decent results. So like, if I'm consuming stuff, it's not just like one lens of a consumer that I'll be having. I have another lens of like, okay, I find something interesting, maybe like I should pass it over to my team, and they could implement that and blend it in to the things we're doing right now, right? So it's not just like I'm just consuming content for entertainment. Of course, yeah, I do like, I love to listen different podcasts, um, even if it's not related to business. I would love to listen it, but sometimes you get to find something that is like interesting, of like how they set it up, the hook, or like what they did different, that you found like a little bit like interesting that you were not already doing. So you just pass it over to the team. That comes that basically comes in a creative standpoint, if you think about from that perspective. And then there comes a strategic approach. Well, if you think about strategy is all about like, especially in your team or even in solo, it's like a completely laid out plan. If you don't have a plan at all, that's not laid out, then all of it is hope. It's all of it is like, I wish if it happens. So strategy is all around, okay, you have a point A and you have a point B, and then you start to like nail down stuff. Again, strategy does not mean like it's going to work 100% of the times, but strategy at least means it gives you enough direction to explore that path. That's the whole point of a strategy does not mean that it's going to be 100% accurate, because strategies, stuff like that, do changes. The whole goal of a strategy is to have a plan. That's the whole point. uh, but to lay out a plan and just to see on what basis you're planning to execute on stuff. So that's exactly what we do. If it's not there, nobody can see it. So strategy is like laying out a plan so that people can be able to, even from your team or even you as a solo, you'll be able to like execute it properly. So I always do that for any particular thing for my team, so they can come and see it and be able to like, make it happen. So yeah, that's how my creative and strategic approaches always looks like. It's not like I just let my team know, like, hey, go find something creative and then come back to me. It's not like that. Of course, if they have their own creative inputs, I would love to hear it. If it works, I will give them approval, like, yeah, sure, go ahead. If not, I will give them logical reasons of like what I believe why it will not work. uh, but if they still want to try, great. Then data will decide like if it's gonna work or not, right? But apart from that, if I'm gonna give them idea, I will give them other inspirations to follow so that they can be able to like work on it properly. A lot of things usually get reused in the marketplace. Like there pretty less inventions happen in the creative side. um, yeah, better to follow like what's already working.
All right, I truly appreciate your time and thought in your response. It truly means a lot to me. And it's not related, but I can tell that you're a good team leader. I can say, I can tell. And thank you so much. All right, moving on. My question is, what's one belief you had earlier that you had to unlearn in order to grow?
um
Please.
yeah, I would say, well, like, thing that I had to unlearn was, okay, some traits I already had. I think that got me like a little bit of mm, momentum or a little bit of like success here and there. Was like I have um I I always have this mentality about like not to quit in any situation. I'm not type of a person who cries. I always look for like possibilities or solutions. So thing that I had to unlearn was um that I cannot do it. That's the most important thing I had to unlearn, because see, like, I'm an introvert. If people don't believe me now, that's a different situation. But I was a guy who never thought about, the only two fears I had in my life was, one, getting on camera, and second, being on stages. And that's exactly what I'm doing right now. That's kind of like my main thing, my main business is being on stages, being on camera. That's exactly what's happening. So it's like these were the biggest two fears I had. If I think about, like, all the other things are secondary, like these were like two main fears I had, because I play piano. Like, if you don't know about it, like, I've been playing piano for past 10 years. I had a piano channel, and 10 years old, and the content I was recording over there was without my face. So it was just my hands, and just a keyboard. Like, I started with like a small keyboard first, and later down the road I improved it later on. But when I got 1000 subscribers on my channel, I thought I will do my face reveal. I'm going to be like, hey guys, this is me, thank you so much. But the problem was, I never did the face reveal over there, just because I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna look like. I don't know like how people gonna think about me, this and that. So the thing I had to unlearn first, that for like nobody thinking about you when you're starting putting content, when you're starting out, nobody's thinking about you. Everybody is thinking about them. So so that was the first thing, that the first thing I had to like unlearn, that, that the spotlight is on me. Technically it's not. Everybody is kind of like running in their own life. Spotlight is not on you. That is reality, how it is. Um so yeah, that was the thing I had to like unlearn, that hey, I cannot do it, all that. But of course, later down the road, when I started to consume content of different entrepreneurs, I started to realize that Russell, I was talking about like Russell Brunson and his dot-com secrets book. He was talking about the concept of, if you want to become a leader, you have to lead by example. So, and that's exactly what leader means, is like lead by example. So if you want to lead by example, then you have to do it first. Otherwise, it's hypocrisy. You're telling other people to do it, and where you're not even like exploring that path yourself. It's hypocrisy. So I was like, okay, if I want to inspire others to get on camera to talk about their stuff, I have to get on camera first. So I started doing content also like back in 2019, and without not having proper camera, proper light, proper mic. I didn't had idea how to speak at first, because again, English is not our first language, so we have lack of vocabulary, all that. But I was like, if I cannot start right now with the current resources I have, I cannot be able to do it. So now I'm big proportionate of taking imperfect action, utilize your resources, what you have, be resourceful. So if somebody comes to me and be like, hey, I don't have this, I don't have, I was like, been there, done that. I don't want to hear this shit at all. It's like just use whatever the resources you have. Nobody cares about it at all, but you will be able to progress, and you will be able to see, like, even like a month later, you'll be able to see how far you progressed. So that was the thing I had to earn, like, hey, I cannot do it because. So that was like when that thing got changed for me. uh, so my personal resilience, and then my thought about, like, hey, I can make it work. And I don't care about like how other people is gonna think about it, until unless I'm just trying and working on it, all that, etc. So yeah, that was like a really important thing I had to unlearn.
All right, thank you so much. So the thing you had to unlearn was that I couldn't, that I cannot do it.
Yeah,
You can just do it. All right, and I heard this somewhere. Great people try to overcome their fears until to the point they the fear becomes their passion.
yeah,
So you have the verification
yeah,
of great people, you can say. All right, that's an entrepreneur. All right, moving on. My question is: have you ever had a moment of your life when you wanted to give up? Like, what pulled you back?
yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, definitely in the beginning, it took me 6 months to get my full sale online. So I had tried a lot of different things. I had, started with drop shipping first, and of course, we have a lot of problems being in Pakistan. Like, we don't have proper payment gateways, this and that. Whatever the saving I had, I just used my saving to form a company in the US and get a payment gateway, start my drop shipping store. Drop shipping store didn't work out, and then I started, exploring the world of affiliate marketing just to see how it works, all that. And during that time, I got admission in my university, so I was like, I have only two options. One is like figure out this to see if it works or not. Second, if it doesn't work, I have to find a way so that I can be able to find a way to make some money so that I can pay my university fees, because I don't want to be like super dependent on my parents. I feel like right now at this point, especially this generation is pretty much like an entitled generation most of the time. I don't know, if it's not you, that's fine, but like, the reality is like this generation, like the generation after us, even though we count as in Gen Z's, but like I would say like post Gen Z's or like late Gen Z's are pretty much like entitled kids who always feel like that their parents owe them everything. In reality, it's not. There is a certain point where you should at least gain a little bit of like self respect of like you're big enough where you should at least start figuring out. It's not like figure it all out, but at least have enough awareness about like, hey, I should start working on it to see like when it will get a little bit like figure out or so. So I started my university. I was like, hey, if this works out, that's great, this online stuff. But if it doesn't, then I'll find a delivery guy job, and I'll do it. I'll make sure to fund my university fees somehow, some way, all that. But like it took me 6 months to get my first sale, and that broken all of my false belief that this works. Making money online works. And I was like super excited. I was like, if I can make like $100 in a day, like I can make a lot more. So yeah, from there, and it happened like, I would say like 6.5 years ago, like 9th March 2019. So like after that, almost 6.5 years, there haven't came a single month when I haven't made any sale or at all. So, but yeah, like those 6 months where I was like pretty close to quit the online stuff, but like all of a sudden the effort worked out, and we're here, right? Otherwise, like I would have been like riding KFC's, deliveries, all that. Not that it's a bad job, but of course it is pretty time consuming. It requires physical energy a lot, and it's tiring. It's not that easy. Definitely, so huge respect for them who are doing it. But yeah, situation would have been different.
All right, a moment so significant you even remember the exact date when you had your first sale.
Yeah, yeah. I don't forget dates. So
Oh,
if I remember something, I don't forget it.
bro, that's great. That's really great. Okay, it's a fun question. If your life were a Netflix series, what would it be? What would it be? Its title and genre.
honestly, I don't watch a lot of Netflix series. So, but um,
That's a great twist. You don't watch Netflix series, but if your life was a Netflix series, what would it
yeah,
be its title and genre?
yeah, yeah. Genre, I don't. I'm not quite sure about like what genre looks like for it, but title could be like they're different. They're I mean like there are so many amazing titles they have on Netflix.
Hmm.
For example, like Suits. Suits is a really great. Like the series is great overall, but of
Hmm.
course, like title is not understandable enough for a lot of people out there.
It's similar to the question of if you could explain your life in one word, what would it be?
Yeah, okay, that makes a lot of sense. I think
Yeah.
in one line it would be like winners never quit. So
Whoa. Okay.
yeah,
All right.
yeah, I think yeah that would be like pretty much it. It's like you only lose when you quit. In simple
Hmm.
words, yeah, I still face a lot of different challenges, which is like far more tolerable how it was in the beginning, because like the starting challenges was first of all not tolerable enough, and I had not enough control about like what to do in that situation, right? Like things have been different now, and it only happened because of me putting up consistent efforts to make sure like to make it work. So yeah, there's a quote that winners never quit and quitters never win. So yeah,
All right. So thank you so much, and and I can tell the genre could be suspense because you worked a lot of years and now you're here uh, with the mic and it's just you and you're famous. You're famous enough to come on my FYP again and again. So that's really great. And it was really great interviewing you. I'm really honored and I waited for this interview the whole day and I was really excited. So, and it was worth my time, it was worth everything. Thank you so much.
thank you for thank you so much for having me. You did great. You asked some amazing questions. I definitely enjoyed my time here.
That means a lot. Thank you so much. All right, so that's it for today, and I hope you enjoyed watching us. And thank you so much. That's it. Allah Hafiz.